That's really surface because what I'm saying is, okay, you can't know how things are going to turn out in the future. You're saying that a woman is purposely choosing someone who's an arsehole. If they do, and I know, I agree,
No,
there's
accidentally.
many that do.
How about they
Many
deliberately choose somebody who isn't an asshole?
No, but
And how about they don't have kids until they find out whether the guy is an asshole?
this is what I'm saying, brother. You can't know that. You can't know the future. It's really easy. I don't know that you're not an arsehole. I don't know that.
I'm a little bit of an
You don't know that
arsehole,
I'm not an arsehole.
But I haven't had any children with anybody.
Content over everything.
Yeah, but things happen, you know. As you even know, a condom can break, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Things happen.
Yes, but I haven't had any children with anybody, so the implications of my being an asshole are rather less
100%.
widespread.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, if I were an asshole, let's say I'm an asshole, and I had gone around and I had knocked up anybody who would be knocked up by me. To what extent would the people that I had knocked up have been at least complicit? How about this? Let's assume that any decision that I am a part of, because I am a psychologically dominant, overwhelming, patriarchal shitlord, I am 100% responsible for any decision that I participate in, and that my automatic willpower will overwhelm any poor weeble woman that I'm interacting with, right? So the actual decision to bump ugly, obviously I was involved in that, so that's my responsibility. How about the decision she took before she went out to go out armed and dangerous and not go out having birth control? She went out live, loaded. So that's her decision that I wasn't a participant in. So she's 100% responsible for having gone out without taking a birth control and aiming to go out and bump ugly and get knocked up. That's down to her. The bumping ugly thing I participated in, so that's all my responsibility, because she has no agency and we have to judge her at the level of legal responsibility of a child. Downstream, she decides the next morning that she isn't going to go out and take Plan B. Now, the decision was, do I take Plan B, do I not take Plan B? She took the more difficult decision, the more inconvenient decision of not taking Plan B. I wasn't involved in that, so that's 100% down to her. She decided not to go and get an abortion, which is the less convenient decision. She decided to carry it to term rather than going out and getting a decision. I wasn't involved in that decision. That's down to her. Right, if you look at all the technology to do with reproduction, aside from condoms, which, as you said, aren't 100%, it's all the monopoly is female reproductive control. The only people who can't have recreational sex are heterosexual men. Gay men get recreational sex, lesbians get recreational sex, straight women get recreational sex.
See what you mean.
The only sex we have is either no sex or possibly reproductive sex.
Okay, and what's wrong with no sex?
No, I'm not saying that I'm not saying anything wrong.
I'm saying it's
everybody gets the opportunity.
It's still possible.
Everybody gets the opportunity of having no sex,
right?
But everybody else gets the opportunity of having recreational sex. We are the only ones who don't, unless you're paying for it.
Do you feel
at which
upset
point
about that?
Is that rape or larceny?
But do you feel upset about that?
I'm just saying what is. I'm just saying that the situation that obviously the patriarchy is it's not quite as straightforward as it sounds, is it?
No.
Okay, and after the abortion thing, they get a chance to give the child up to be adopted by somebody else. They decide to hang on to the child, which is not the most convenient decision, and I am not involved in, so it's down to them.
So, and it's not the most convenient because of what you said before about.
But if she has a kid and she says, well, I can have the child adopted by somebody, or I can hang on to it, and it is less convenient to hang on to it.
But less convenient by what standard? What do you mean, like less convenient?
Man hours.
Man hours.
Yes. The amount of hard work it is to look after a kid.
Okay. So
Or
it's
to
harder
not
for
look
the
after
mother.
a
It'd be harder
kid
for the mother.
because it's been adopted out to somebody.
It'd be harder for the mother.
Less convenient for the mother.
Yes. But
She may decide to go for it, but it's not convenient.
yeah, but it's not. Life isn't all about
And
convenience.
she has chosen that as a lifestyle choice, and I wasn't involved in the decision, so it's not down to me, it's down to her.
What isn't down to you, sir?
But if there is a woman who comes and says, you knocked me up,
Okay.
this is the child, give me child support.
Okay. You haven't
How
mentioned
about
that.
we say, your body, your choice, your responsibility, your price tag? There was actually a case in the United States. The head of the New York National Organization of Women, Sharon DeCrow, I think her name was. She was a lawyer, and she successfully defended a guy from having to pay paternity because the woman in question got knocked up, had the kid, and then came and said, "This is your kid, give me money." And she said, basically, all of the decisions, it wasn't the most convenient decision. It was a distinct lifestyle choice that she had taken to have the kid and keep the kid. And she'd gone out armed and dangerous, got knocked up, and it was all her choice. Now, obviously, the case was overturned on appeal, unsurprisingly. But she argued that basically you have to hold women a little bit accountable for decisions they participate in. If 100% of the decision is hers, and the man wasn't involved in the decision, then to what extent is he really responsible?
I hear that, but I'm laughing because you're looking at.
I'm looking at it rationally. I know. It's a patriarchal construct.
What could the speakers call it? You're coming. You're starting your argument, your understanding, your beliefs, your knowledge after the event. At the end of the day, the initial event is two people. It's always two people. You're saying she got knocked up, but
Just
at the end of the day, it's still...
I'm not saying she got mugged by the knockup
No,
there.
but you just said she got knocked up.
I'm saying
But-
for that particular
yeah, but
event,
at the end of the
I
day,
take
it's
full
still-
responsibility.
It's still two people.
I'm saying...
So just say she got knocked
Yeah.
up. No, there is two people. It's always two people. So us as men, we got to be responsible
wait
too.
a second.
Us as men,
If
we have
a
to be
woman
responsible
goes
too.
out not having taken or having not taken birth control, and she decides to go out and wear her attractive underwear because she might be getting a bunk up,
Okay.
does she take any responsibility for the possibility?
What's up, my good person?
Have I met you?
Yes, you
How
have.
did I meet you?
Yes.
I think the camera's on and you're just intruding into shot.
Where did I meet you? I don't recognize you.
Oh, never mind. I apologise.
No, you have to apologise. I'm just generally saying I don't.
You see me here from time to time.
Okay.
That's probably why.
Okay. Well, I'm good. Are you good?
I'm good. What was the topic of the conversation?
I was suggesting
I don't really know. Something
I was
about women and
suggesting
abortion
that if
and
you-
feminism mixed together.
Oh dear.
at
Oh,
a certain
God.
point, to what extent is it possible in law to hold women responsible for any of their actions?
What do you mean?
Well, if a woman decides to go out having not taken any birth control with the intention of going and having sex, to what extent is she responsible? Let's assume that in any decision that is shared, she has no responsibility because the man is a patriarchal shitlord, and she is absolved of all agency and responsibility because she's interacting with a man.
Okay.
Right? So we make the least charitable possible interpretation that any shared responsibility, like having sex, the guy takes all responsibility for the sex. And
I have a different approach. It's a much more individualistic approach. Both partners should be equally responsible for their own actions, i.e., as a man,
Yeah, but you'll never get the British legal system
Let me
to
finish.
prove that.
As a man, you should expect that she will lie to you regarding her
Fertility status.
regarding her fertility status, and as a result, it is incumbent upon you to ensure that you take it upon yourself to have a sexual encounter without it resulting in a pregnancy, with the expectation that she is lying to you. The same should apply
So you assume
to
that
her.
I'm a little bit cynical. So is my cynicism ameliorated in any respect here?
No, I just think because this obviously the foundation of the conversation was about feminism.
Let's look at. I mean, let's look at it mechanically from a decision point of view. The first decision, chronologically, is her decision to go out without having taken birth control.
She will lie.
And if she goes out without having taken
I'll just
birth
go with what
control,
you're saying, but that's your belief, okay?
well, all right. Is there any decision as
Again,
part
it
of
still
the
has
whole,
to be the man.
as part of the whole process?
Okay.
She
This
did
is
it, she
okay.
did it.
This
If
is
she
a
does get
decision
pregnant,
that is
yes.
taken before you meet,
Sorry,
and you can't be responsible
So
for
say that
it.
again. I couldn't hear you.
That decision is, if you look at the whole process, a decision that is taken before you meet. Are you saying that you have to take responsibility for a decision taken by somebody else before you meet?
No, she has her responsibility and he has his responsibility.
Yeah, individual responsibility.
Yeah, she's in
Okay.
her house, he's in his house. They don't know when they're going to meet each other.
If I have my responsibility, my one phase of the whole interaction.
Don't get drunk.
If I have
That
if I have my one decision that I'm responsible for, and then she could take another decision, which would absolve, get rid of the whole problem, and she chooses not to. She has a choice of, do I make a convenient decision or an inconvenient decision?
Yeah, but I don't agree with that convenient work. Like I said, life isn't always convenient.
Okay, let's ignore
Life isn't always convenient.
Okay, let's ignore the
Sometimes you
convenience.
have to take a diet
Let's
or whatever.
let's ignore the convenience, and let's say she says,
Or do your
I
homework.
I can
You wanna
either
watch
take
TV.
Plan B or not.
Okay.
And she decides to not take Plan B.
It's very simple.
And then she decides to not have an abortion and not have the child adopted.
Yeah.
And then she comes to me and says, this is your decision. Your decision, your responsibility.
Completely unfair. It's got nothing to do with the man. The women have the lion's share of,
It's a lifestyle choice.
birth control.
Now-
The men don't even have a birth control pill so far.
That's true, but
It's now the lifestyle
don't have
choice.
nearly as much as
As
social support
women, yeah.
As women,
That-
not nearly as much. It's far much more the
That's
female's
true, but-
responsibility in this case.
that's true,
than it
but
will be the man's.
unfortunately, the courts are
And what
most.
you're talking about sitting down watching TV, sorry to disturb
Yeah,
you,
by all means.
you have to also realize that there's massive gynocentric brainwashing as to what it takes to make a child for a man. You think it's just simply sitting down and learning about these things? I mean, men are supposed to understand these things through society, through other people to teach them these things, but they're not being taught these things.
We're not being told what.
We're not being told about what it means to have like the birth control pill.
Oh
or
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
what it means to
Back
have
ways
like
of
safe
peace.
sex. What it means to have like safe sex. Nobody's
Yeah.
being taught that.
Yeah, it's not the basic education. I
Exactly.
agree.
So you can't just blame a man for it because
No,
he
no
might
one's
not know.
blaming men.
Well, you can't.
No,
but
no.
You can't. But given the
No,
current,
you missed something. What I was talking about was the word convenience, because he's saying that for the woman, it's less convenient for her to have an abortion. This is his words, right? You see that reaction. I'm saying the word convenient, that's a bit dodgy because, just because something isn't convenient doesn't mean you don't do it. Like you want to watch TV, but you have homework to do. So it's inconvenient for you to this homework being in your life. You want to watch Power Rangers. That's what I'm saying. The word convenient. That's why he changed the word. That's what I'm talking about, convenience. But that's like saying a woman should feel, have this grudge against their son or their kid. Like, you're so inconvenient.
A lot of women feel like that.
Yeah, maybe that's what men feel like.
A lot of women.
You know what I mean?
Women feel like
Men feel that. Yes, brother. So
The
it's just
irony-
the word convenience. That's all.
well, the irony is you also have many single mothers in this city.
No, everyone's not the same. Sorry.
Everybody's not the same, but unfortunately in this city you do have an epidemic of single mothers who have
100%,
children so
yeah.
that they can actually use them to earn an income, which in my view is absolutely despicable. Oh my god, this is going to bite me back in the future, I just know. It's going to bite me back. I'm just saying, if you're going to have a child with the sole intention of materially supporting yourself and yourself alone,
Oh wow.
that is, in my opinion, just vile.
Yeah. I mean, just using someone,
Exactly.
using anyone for any reason.
Exactly.
That's selfish, of course, it's not good. So yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt. And if there are people that do that, I don't know anyone. If there are people that do that, then yeah, that's to me very selfish.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, if you are going to bring a child into this world, it's your responsibility to ensure that they grow up to be successful, happy, productive adults.
And yeah, my point was I wasn't really trying to say to the other gentleman, not just let him speak because he likes his voice, which is fair enough. It's just because you're a single mother doesn't mean you cannot raise good, strong adults.
That's true, but it means
It happens all the time.
That's
It's
true.
just looking at the negative side, but it's like saying a woman is incapable of raising a kid by themselves, and there's many single mothers who are amazing mothers.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. However, they are considerably less likely to. That's the concern.
By what understanding? By what?
By every metric we have assessed. For example, we know that, for example, children who grow up in fatherless households are overwhelmingly more likely to end up in jail, overwhelmingly most likely to end up in the lowest income quintile, most likely to die early, most likely to suffer teenage pregnancies.
Die early in what way though?
Have
Many reasons why.
a lower life expectancy.
Or just in general? Okay, in general.
Yeah, in general. It's a very broad metric, unfortunately.
That's very broad.
More likely to commit crime. More
And
likely
how
to
many people have been tested to get these figures? I mean, there's how many 60 million of us in this country?
There are 60 million of us
And
in
whenever
this
you
country,
see, whenever you
yes.
see these
However,
surveys, it was like, oh, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 were tested. You know what I mean? Like, and we go by those figures and say that's how the whole country is.
I don't know the sources of the figures precisely, as I don't have them from the top of my head, but apparently this seems to be a phenomenon that not only applies to the United
I like
Kingdom.
the word apparently. I like that. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
Well,
apparently. Yeah.
It's,
But when
the
we
thing
say
is,
facts,
the reason why I say apparently is because I can't make a first-hand primary claim. My sources are secondary, ultimately,
Exactly.
MD. I'm trusting the words of people who claim to be very well informed in this field. So, for example, you do have. I'm pretty sure you've heard of this very prolific intellectual in our society recently called Jordan Peterson.
I see him on YouTube. I haven't watched him, but I've seen his.
Well, he's actually
face.
he's very entertaining to watch. Actually, you should watch some of his lectures at the University of Toronto. They're very good. And he states that, usually more often than not, people who are in single mother households, single parent households, do overwhelmingly end up a lot less well off. However, this trend is also offset by the fact that children who grow up in single parent households but grew up in a neighbourhood where there are many fathers present are significantly more likely to succeed, meaning that the presence of fathers in their lives, the fathers of their peers, does actually, influence the behaviours of those particular individuals.
Yeah, and that comes down to culture. Yeah, because in many villages, everyone's pretty much raising each other's kids.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're not really fatherless and motherless.
Precisely, yeah. Although that being said, I think it's a lot harder to pull something like that off in London, given how disconnected we are from each other in our urban lifestyles.
Of course, harder, 100% harder. Yeah. Not impossible, but harder.
Yeah, a lot harder.
Yeah. But can I just ask you just quickly, would you have preferred to have been raised with a single mother or with a mum and a dad, but the dad was extremely abusive?
Tough question. Really tough question. To what extent?
As in hitting you, hitting your mother. You can even go, more disgusting than that. You know what I mean? But this happens.
Is it a low-income household?
Take your pick. That's the way it matters, but take your pick.
Fair enough. If it's a high-income household with an abusive father, yes. If it's not, I'd probably stick with a single mother.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So money is more important to you than your emotional well-being?
Well, at the end of the day, if the father has the material resources necessary to give me a good education that will allow me to be independent of him in the long term, yes.
But if you're carrying this suffering within you, it doesn't matter what job you get, I'm suggesting, what job you get, how far you go in life, in quotes far, business-wise. If you have this hurt inside, you're going to fall into depression, you're going to fall into loneliness. You might even commit suicide.
Suffering is the incumbent of the individual. At the end of the day, regardless of what has happened to us and regardless of the circumstances of our birth, we at the end of the day choose who we want to be, and we should never let the past define us for who we are. Because at the end of the day, I don't believe we should define...
Easier said than done.
Easier said than done, but I don't think we should define the entirety of our identities on the circumstances upon which we were born into. It's what we do. It's what we do with the gift of life that really matters.
I totally agree with that, and like I said, more than you know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm sure you articulate that it's actually hard.
Very bloody
For
hard.
most people, that's
very
why they go to
bloody
therapists.
hard.
That's why they go, you know, to shrinks.
Very bloody
so
hard.
If you have this emotional suffering from when you was a kid, and it becomes your norm.
Look, if I'm being honest,
it's not just like, I'll just forget my past. For most people.
It's not a question of forgetting your past. It's a question of being at peace with your past and moving on.
I know, I agree. I 100% agree, but I'm saying it's not easy for many people. But in the day, you are you. If you say you prefer to have the money and the emotional pain, that's you.
Yeah.
It's not an argument. Yeah. Yes, sunshine.
I think I'm going to converse elsewhere, see what other entertainment there is today. So yeah, lovely chatting.
Yeah, peace. Thank you.
Your name's Tiger, innit?
Yeah.
Can't take over everything from your melody.
Come, man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV.
Yeah, as I was saying. Yeah, it's just these identities we say we are. I'm suggesting is not true. If I say I am Tiger, if you say you are Leon, these are names, these are labels, as you said, that can be changed. That which is the change for cannot be me, not the essential, because I am the observer of the changes.